It is 4 p.m. on the nose on the 13th day of November 2025. A very good afternoon to you, wherever you're joining us from. It's time for Citizen Briefs. My name is Melita Oletenges. Let's begin with the latest. Now, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops has lamented the government's confusion in the education sector, pointing at the delays in capitation, what the clergy defines as a shortage of teachers and lack of clear guidance on CBC, among other shortcomings. They have faulted the government for failing to get a handle on medical cover through the Social Health Authority. The Catholic bishops have urged the government to repeal sections of the computer misuse and cybercrime laws that are susceptible to misuse. The bishops speaking in Nairobi say the laws were passed hurriedly and without public participation.
To curtail the very freedom they ought to protect. Meaningful public participation would be necessary. The fears Kenyans have expressed regarding these new laws should not be brushed off. They deserve to be listened to and, where necessary, corrective measures taken. Specifically, it seems that the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Act can be abused to silence government critics.
The money owed to our institutions under NHIF are huge sums of money. This money is crippling our hospitals and our institutions of health. The government needs to move with speed and not to close its eye to this reality about the effect the arrears owed to our hospitals under NHIF is doing damage to our hospitals.
A compliance officer attached to Kenya Revenue Authority was arraigned before the Kisumu Law Courts on Thursday, facing charges of soliciting and receiving a bribe of 500,000 shillings. Evans Agumba Oriato allegedly solicited for a 1 million shillings bribe to facilitate the filing of returns for a school in 2021. The accused reportedly received a sum of 500,000 shillings as down payment, leading to his arrest. Appearing before Chief Magistrate Benson Ireri, Oriato denied the 3 counts of bribery and was released on a 500,000 shillings bond with a surety of a similar amount. The case will be mentioned on the 25th November.
Bail is granted. Give me a mention date before court 1 for pretrial. 25th. Might have been mentioned on 25th of November before court 1 for pretrial.
Now, President William Ruto has criticized the opposition, saying they lack a plan for the people of Kenya, adding that they are backward thinking. The president, whose tour of Ukambani entered day 2 in Kitui County today, challenged his critics to look for alternative ideas or prepare for a heavy defeat at the ballot, in the 2027 presidential race. The head of state continued the launch of projects in the county, including roads, markets, and affordable housing units.
Mambo yao ni matatu. One term, Kasongo, must go. Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize. Hiyo ndio siasa yao inaishia hapo. Inaanza kwa ukabila, inaenda kwa matusi, inafikia kwa kupingana. Sasa leo wanapinga housing, wanapinga soko, wanapinga model ya elimu, wanapinga SHA. Sasa mimi nimekuja hapa na muwatangazie, mwambie Ruto amefika hapa. Amesema mambo ya upinzani imekwisha. Kama mnasemaje watu wa Ukambani? Sikizeni bwana. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Hawa watu wa Ukambani ni watu wazuri sana. Kama kuna watu watatangulia mbinguni ni watu wa Ukambani.
Soko ndio hii. Si rais ametujengea soko. Si umesikia title deed na stima. Rais akiendelea namna hivi na sisi tunamwambiaje? Tunamwambiaje? Aendelee asiendelee? Si anafanya kazi nzuri? Aendelee.
4 bloggers have been summoned by the Embu County Security Committee over alleged online threats against former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua ahead of his visit to Mbeere North. This comes after Gachagua wrote to Police Inspector General Douglas Kanja, raising the alarm on what he said were threats surrounding his planned tour of Mbeere North to participate in ongoing campaigns. County Commissioner Jack Obua said the suspects have been questioned and warned that those found culpable will face prosecution. He assured residents of tight security during the ongoing campaigns.
Na wakizidi kuonyesha kwamba bado wanaendelea na hizo matamshi, then tutachukua hatua vile inatakikana, kwa sababu hatutaki uchochezi kwa wananchi wetu. Tumekuwa na amani na tunaendelea kuwa na amani, na tutahakikisha kwamba ile kipindi imebaki wiki 2 hatuna uchochezi katika uchaguzi ama ile kipindi cha uchaguzi Mbeere North.
Now, a new report by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, reveals that Kenya's public parastatals remain largely dominated by a few ethnic communities, despite diversity laws being in place for more than a decade. The 2025 Ethnic and Diversity Audit shows that 8 ethnic groups, Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Luo, Luhya, Kamba, Kisii, Meru, and Mijikenda, occupy nearly 88% of all parastatal jobs, leaving just 12% to be shared among 37 minority groups. The NCIC says political patronage continues to influence hiring within the same 8 communities, also taking up 86% of CEO positions. Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Luo, and Luhya communities alone control nearly 2/3 of top leadership roles. The audit exposes a gender gap showing 62% of all parastatal employees are men, while women hold just 22% of CEO positions, falling short of the 2/3 gender rule. Persons with disabilities account for less than 2% of the workforce, far below the 5% legal threshold.
Not more than what? 3/4. One community, national law, what does it say? Our act, what does it say? Not more than? 3/4. Not more than 33.3%, sindio? How did that 34% of the pita kabisa na kuenda KPA? Now this is very sensitive because we've done a lot of work and this work in this coast. But as you can see, there are 34.4% of one community.
There are many areas in which those opportunities are not made available to majority of Kenyans. And because that's part of our mandate, and they help to correct where where there's no compliance. And that is why we do research and we come up with the documents that we are launching today.
Meanwhile, Head of Public Service Felix Koskei has called for efficiency in management of public resources across all state agencies and prioritization of service delivery. Speaking during a consultative engagement that marked the launch of the 2025-2026 campaign, focusing on re-energization of government-owned entities and executive agencies, Koskei said lessons learned from the 2-year pilot programs will be key and implementation future programs.
Of high national importance. Whether online, at service counters, or in field operations, you are the human and institutional face of government. The performance of each entity represented here is, in truth, the performance of government itself. Across the breadth of our public institutions, the evidence gathered from the self-assessment tool administered by my office revealed both commendable progress and persistent weaknesses. The exercise was not intended to indict, but to illuminate and provide a factual mirror through which we may confront the realities of our governance architecture.
To some business news now. Naivas Supermarket, I'll take that again. Naivas Supermarket has partnered with Uber Eats to enable customers to easily purchase goods and daily essentials through the Uber Eats app. This collaboration aims to improve the convenience of online shopping while the prices of goods remain the same as those in the physical stores. The two companies state that this move is part of a strategy to promote digital technology, which integrates services from both physical and online stores.
Partnering with one of the largest delivery partners globally and in Kenya, Uber Eats. So this marks, as my colleague Rashid said, a very important milestone for us. So we're here today to formally announce and celebrate the partnership with Uber Eats. And we're very excited about this.
Very excited to be celebrating this partnership. Looking forward to delivering more value to Kenyan consumers and complementing the Naivas mission to be the biggest retailer in Kenya.
The Council of Governors is calling for a review of the rule that restricts women from delivering at Level 2 health facilities under the Social Health Authority. The governors say the policy has led to a decline in the number of women delivering in health facilities across the country. Speaking during the launch of the Inter-County Maternal and Perinatal Death Surveillance and Response Initiative, commonly known as MPDSR, the governors expressed concern that most mothers, especially those in rural areas, can only access dispensaries. They noted that the decision by the Social Health Authority not to cover deliveries at dispensary level poses a serious risk of reversing gains made in promoting skilled birth attendants at a time when the country records an estimated 5,680 maternal deaths and 33,600 newborn deaths annually.
It's a very important facility for us. Dispensary, the border of Ethiopia in Mandera North or in Mandera West is run in Nairobi Hospital of Mandera. The issue of SHA should not be politicized. I think that's where the president's intention is very clear. The universal health care is one of the things that we really looked forward to. But how we are managing it need to be looked at this seriously.
You can fake any other disease, but I don't see anyone faking pregnancy. Because pregnancy has a product or a visible, which is a baby and a happy mother. Because they say that it is in the law, and I believe that law was not made, man was not made for the law. It is a law that was made for man.
We cannot allow the lives of our newborn and our mothers to be just mere statistics. We want to discuss them one by one and ensure that we take responsibility right from the top and ensure that we are able to bring down this. I tend to believe that the GAP has been the platform that we are launching today.
To some international news now, African Union Commission Chairperson Mahmoud Ali Yusuf has dismissed U.S. President Donald Trump's remarks that Boko Haram is killing Christians in northern Nigeria. Addressing reporters at the United Nations in New York, the AUC chairperson asked Trump to think twice before making such statements, saying Muslims are the victims of Boko Haram and not Christians. President Trump on November 5th announced that they would stop all aid to Nigeria and promised military action if their government did not stop the killings of Christians. Over the last 15 years, thousands have been killed by Boko Haram militia who are associated with Al-Qaeda.
We have issued a communique making clear that what's going on in northern part of Nigeria has nothing to do with the kind of atrocities we see in Sudan or in some part of eastern DRC. I think the complexity of the situation in northern Nigeria should, push us think twice before, declaring such or making such statements. The first victims of Boko Haram are Muslims, not Christians. The first victims. And I'm saying it with documented references.
15 minutes past the hour. That's where we wind up Citizen Briefs on this 13th day of November 2025. Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Melita Oletenges. More news updates at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Good afternoon.